I'm going to be adding a foundation underneath this camp. We're going to do a T-type foundation that's just going to be a crawl space with a full footing and a slab about 4 feet below the floor system. So the first thing I need to do is create a level for that basement to be defined at. So I'm going to go down to the elevations and go to the front elevation. It doesn't really make any difference which one you go to. And I'm going to add a new level. So click on the Architecture tab, find the Level tool, and starting at maybe 4 feet below the existing level, I'm just going to start on this side, 4 feet below. We want to drag that level out. Now I'm not seeing the level, so I'm going to hit Escape. I think I know why that is, because of my crop region. So I'm going to turn on my crop region and extend it down a bit further so that we can see that new level, and then I'll turn it off again and start again. Once you drag off over underneath the other levels, it will kind of snap into place so it aligns with the other levels. And I'm going to rename that foundation. I'm actually going to rename first floor and make it all caps, and roof and make that all caps as well. That way when those titles go into the title sheets, they'll come in as capitals. Alright, so this is going to be representative of where the slab will be, and then we'll control the heights of everything else based on the position of that foundation level. So for now at 4 feet, that's fine. Scroll back up to the top, and when you look at floor plans, you'll see that there's a new floor plan foundation. I'm going to double click on that, and we'll see no walls from the first floor, but we're seeing some flooring, and that's based on our view range. So I want to set our view range here so that it's at foundation, but I don't want it to be 7 feet above foundation. I only want that to be 3 feet above the foundation, and I want the cut plane to only be about 2 feet, and we'll apply that. Now you shouldn't be able to see anything, but we do need some kind of reference of where that first floor level is. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top, and across from underlay I'm going to put first floor and apply that. Now this is the roofs that we're seeing here. Well, I'm going to turn off the roofs by typing VV at my keyboard. That's a quick reference to get into visibility and graphics. And the way Revit works, instead of turning things on and off by layer, you turn them on and off by either category or element. So these are the visibility, the categories of all the solid or component features that we have in the drawing. And if it's got a checkbox next to it, then it's turned on. So I'm going to scroll down until I see roofs, and I'm just going to remove the checkbox and then hit apply and OK. And now I can see the walls of the first floor walls, and I can use those as a reference to lay out my foundation walls. Now I do want to have my detail level set to medium, and if I do that, I should be able to snap to the outside face of core for these walls. Now I'm going to go to walls, and I want to create a foundation wall that is 8 inches. So I'm looking for foundations. I've got a 10-inch concrete. I'm going to select that one since I don't have an 8-inch option, and I'll edit the type, duplicate it, change that to 8-inch concrete instead. And then under structure, I'm going to edit the structure and change the thickness to 8 inches here as well, so it reflects the same size as our name. And then hit OK. Before I start to place the foundation, we look to see where the base constraints are. So the base constraint is set to foundation, which is at that -4 feet below finish. but then there's an offset that's been applied of negative 12 feet. I'm going to remove that offset and make that 0. And I want the foundation wall to go up to level foundation with a top offset of 4 feet. And we'll make adjustments. You'll see what happens when we do that. The foundation wall will end up overlapping our floor system, so we're going to have to adjust that to the right height. We'll hit apply, and now I can start to draw the foundation. And I want to draw the foundation from core face exterior and draw it in a clockwise direction. So if I zoom in close enough, I should be able to snap to the outside face of stud. If maybe change the detail level to fine and see if it shows up. So it's not showing me the detail level. I'm just going to go ahead and place the foundation walls, and then I'll move them in after the fact. I wonder if that's the line that I wanted to see. Well, I'll just keep going. So as we move around, I can see now the foundation walls lining perfectly with our exterior walls. But I want to verify that they're actually lined up properly. So I'm going to create a section that I'm just going to use temporarily. So I go up to the top here with this little section tool, or I can click on view and click on section. That does the same thing. And I'm going to put a section across this way, and I'm just going to double click on that bubble once I create it, and I want to look to see if my walls are lined up. So I have to turn on my medium detail level, and this edge of the foundation wall should actually be lined up with this outside face of core. So I'm going to use the align tool, use the tab key to select the outside face of core line as the alignment object, and then click on the outside face of the foundation wall. And then I want to lock that relationship, okay? Because if I decide to move this wall up here, I want that foundation wall to move with it. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Click that outside face of core first, and then click the outside face of the foundation wall and lock that relationship. Now I'm going to close that section view, and I'm just going to take the section I have and I'm going to rotate it. Well, that's not rotating it. I'm just going to take it and delete it. And then make another one in the opposite direction. This takes a little bit of time, but it's really worth it to go through and make sure things are done right. So go back up to Align and do the same thing. Lock that relationship. Locked. Alright, now this is a good place for me to illustrate our issue here with the foundation going from the 4-foot level right up 4 feet to the first floor level, is that we have our foundation walls kind of crashing through our floor system. What needs to happen here is this foundation wall needs to stop 1.5 inches below the floor system so we'd have enough room to fit a mud sill. So we need to make adjustments to that wall, and we're going to create a sweep for the wall so that it will automatically, wherever we cut the wall section, put that mud sill at the top of the wall. So I'm going to, first of all though, fix the wall heights for our foundation. So let's go to our 3D view, and I want to select all 4 walls, 4 foundation walls, and I'm just going to make an adjustment to our base constraint, our offset. So what this should be is the depth of the floor system, which our floor system, by the way, is, let's hit the tab key to get the floor system, is a 10-inch wood finish, and if we look at the depth of it, it's 10 3/4 inches total from finished floor down to the bottom of the floor joist. I also need to add to that the 1.5 inches. So if we were to do a quick calculation, it's 10.75 plus 1.5. So 12 1/4 inches is how far down the wall here, the foundation wall, needs to drop to clear the floor and the mud sill. All right, so I'm going to select all 4 foundation walls, and I'm going to set a top um, offset of hmm, okay, I know what I did. Instead of a top constraint set to foundation, I'm going to change this to first floor, and then I can set the top offset to negative 12.25 inches. So in other words, I'm saying have this wall go from foundation to first floor, but then drop it down 1.25 inches. And when we see that application, what it shows is that the height of the wall is actually now only 2 feet 11.75 inches. So we're going to have to make adjustments to the overall height of the wall, and I can do that with our foundation system level. So if I go back to that front level and I do a little bit of math, I don't even have to do math. I can go aligned. When I click on the top of the foundation wall and then go to the foundation level, there's that 2 foot 11.75 inches. I would like that to be 4 feet 6 inches so that I can have 6 inches above grade here and then 4 feet below grade. So I'm going to select the foundation level, then tap on that dimension. Right, that means what I just did there is I tried to adjust that and it didn't let me. So that means that this dimension is not attached to that foundation. So I'm going to delete it and do it again and make sure that I'm actually selecting that level. And now let's see if we can adjust it. Might be because it's locked. Let's try unlocking it. This normally works. All right, I figured out what was wrong. I didn't realize this, but we can't make adjustments because we were using the bottom of the wall and the top of the wall. We actually have to use something that's not part of that entity, so instead I just am snapping to the floor system, and I'll do a little bit of math. I want to add 1.5 inches to whatever I put in here for a dimension. So now I can select that foundation, and that makes that dimension active, and I can type in 4 foot 7.5 inches, because that would be the 4 foot 6 plus the 1.5 inches for the mud sill, and that gives us 6 inches above grade and then a 4 foot depth. And there's our total foundation change in elevation is negative 5 foot 6.25. And so therefore it did our math for us. So I don't need that dimension anymore. I'm just going to keep it just for reference though, I'll delete it later if I need to. But now the foundation depth is set properly. We could also, while we're here, in our elevation view, we can create another level called grade. And I'm going to put that somewhere here. And we'll just rename that grade. And that should be set so that the dimension between these two should be 4 feet. So I'm going to select the grade level and change that to 4 feet even. So that's the correct change in elevation we should have here to get grade to be 6 inches below the foundation wall. So now we've kind of got everything set up level wise, and I know that all of my heights are going to work. What we need now is to add the footing below our foundation wall, and so we'll do that in the next video.